We're working on the music. Hello to the participants on Zoom. I'm really bad at running both in person and Zoom. So if you have a question or you need me to repeat something, please yell at me in the chat because I don't pay attention to the chat probably as much as I should. So please do that. Welcome to the end of quarter one, which is insane to me. So we are wrapping up March, and I cannot believe how fast it went by. So wanted to look at, so I'm a big forecaster person. What I mean by forecasting is I want to see where the market's heading. I want to see where we are currently because we are able to take that information and then insert that in our businesses, in our listing appointments, and in our buyer appointments. Okay, so this is going to be us actively talking to me today. For those that have never seen me run a team meeting, I like to have engagement. So I want to know what you're seeing in the numbers that we put on the board. Cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to hit on, so lore, just for anybody that doesn't know, is the language of real estate. And so I would encourage y'all, if you are putting out data, and whenever you're putting out data so that we're using the same language, the language of real estate is what you want to use so that they understand, hey, this is data that we're seeing in the real estate industry, and what does this and how does this affect the consumer? So we like to compete with ourselves, okay? And we also like to track and trend how we're competing with the industry, all right? And so this is why we do this. This is called the lore, and this is for the month of February. So, what'd you say? Oh, wrong year, but it's actually this year. We'll work on that. So as you can tell, on closed units, we're down a little bit, right? But in comparison to our local associations, Mississippi, we're a little bit up, so we want to get that number down a little bit, and then MAR is way down compared to us. So we're doing fairly well in closed units. Obviously, I'd like to see a positive number for all of you. I'm going to talk about what's happened with oil prices and rates and what that looks like and what they're predicting for closed units for the year. We're going to do that in another slide in just a minute. All that to say is we are holding the line in closed units, and I do believe, based on seasonality, that number will change a little bit. In terms of closed volume, we're up 3.1%. So what does that mean? Why is volume up? Due to what? Price points. And what are price points increased because of? And or inflation. And we have to understand the reason why I don't track volume in my business. I track units. Why do I do that? Why do I track units over volume? I can't control the price, right? But I can control the number of deals. So I hear agents tell me all the time that they have a roller coaster style business. And when they're doing that, what does that mean? I have 5 deals in 1 month and I have a goose egg in the next month, right? Because a lot of us are chasing volume and we're just looking at our GCI and we're not saying, hey, how do I create a more well-balanced business so that I have something closed every single month, right? And units equals what, Tia? Units equals market share, right? So if you control the inventory, which is you'll see based on these numbers we're doing, right? We have more market share. So based on these numbers, our listings taken, and I would encourage y'all to put these in your listing presentation because this is huge. We are trending way ahead of both associations. So we're almost 30% ahead of both MLSs, which is incredible. And then listing volume also up. Where's the problem lie in this chart here? Listing sold? Is that what you're saying? All right, so I want to mastermind around that for a second because we've had a problem with this for over a year. Why are we struggling to get the listings sold? Price, what else? Well, and consumer sentiment, right? What the consumer is willing to do, right? Who has a listing that's sitting right now? My team's got 14, right? So the more that our listings are sitting, Obviously, y'all know this. The longer days on market, they're going to have more inventory that comes onto the market, which means what? What does it actually do to the seller's price of the home? Drives it down, right? And so my question to you all is, clearly we don't have a problem getting the appointments and signing a listing agreement. Yes or no? But we're having a problem with getting it under contract. So those of you that have a listing, are you getting offers on your listing, or are you getting it under contract and it's falling out in inspection? What's happening out there? Like, is it a fallout, or is it we can't get an offer? One fallout because of inspections. What else? Corey, Caleb, I know y'all have listings. Which one? Both? Corey? I guess my question to the listing agents in the room, what would be helpful for y'all for us to be able to get some of these under contract? Like, what training would be beneficial to y'all? Is it fierce conversations? Is it pricing conversations? Is it some sort of other training around inspections? Like, what do y'all think would be something that would benefit you? Because here's what I know. Y'all can, this is just a coaching conversation for everybody in the room. When you take a listing, do you invest time and money up front? And when you pour into that investment, are you getting an ROI on that if it's just sitting? No. And so we're putting all of our hard work and energy and money into an investment that we're not going to get a return out of. So I guess my question is, what do y'all think would be helpful? I mean, is it a strategy conversation? Is us doing real live seller role plays? I know we did dissect your listing. What do y'all think would help you move it? Obviously, I can't change the market. So is it more I'm feedback wise? What do you think? No comment? Yes. Well, I think you bring up a good point. Like, we're doing creative financing, and like, what are we doing to offer special creative financing? It's like, how can we package it differently outside of just a marketing standpoint? Like, how can we get their attention? Because if everybody's just putting it on the MLS, and then we have angry sellers that are mad at us because they want a set price, like, what are we going to do to reposition that property in the marketplace? Anybody have any other ideas? That's helpful. I mean, I know the strategy behind it is important. About to say something? No. The strategy behind it is important. I think all of us have a huge opportunity, y'all. If if we're trending lower than the association in solds, that tells me a lot of y'all are investing time, money, and energy, and you're not getting the return on it. So I mean, I thought about doing a Fierce Conversations book club. I don't know if anybody's interested in that. Having somebody in here that has lesser days on market, so bringing in a Keller Williams agent that can go over their pricing strategy and conversation. I know you have a coach that you said you wanted to bring in here. I'm all ears, because my goal is for y'all is, if we move this number, that is a lot of money and time that y'all will actually get back versus y'all having to withdraw the listing or expire the listing. Tia, you hear anything else out of that? 8:30 to 9 o'clock role play. So Tia does role play every single morning. And if you're not comfortable having this conversation with the seller, I would encourage you to step outside your box and be willing to do it in front of everybody else. Because if you're willing to do it in front of everybody else, you're going to be much more prepared when you're sitting in front of the seller, right? All right. Hold on. We got listing volume is up, contracts written is up, contracts written volume. So, like, if you look at our numbers and we're looking at market share specifically, y'all, our office is crushing the local MLS in comparison. The only opportunity, honestly, we have is getting our listings under contract. So, all that to say, if you have anything that we can do to listing, please know we want to help. And I know all of our leadership team would be happy to assist with that. All right, next. Okay. I wanted to talk about Go Home Hubs really quickly. What is a Go Home Hub? Anyone? What's Homeowner AI? So it's a site. So let me tell y'all what happened this morning. Morgan. I don't know if you're on. I got, and you probably see this all the time. Y'all might have HomeBot, or you may have something else similar to that. Do y'all have HomeBot? What's your click through rate on HomeBot? Yeah, and the click through rate on average is around 70 to 80%. What does click through rate mean? How many people in your sphere of influence are opening it, right? That is your database, and they're clicking on that to access a home equity report or a home's appreciation. So if your newsletter is getting, I don't know, 20% clicks versus 70% clicks, what information do you think they want more? Your newsletter, or do you think they want access to equity reports and home appreciation? Yeah. I mean, there's people at other offices. So Courtney is does a lot of business with the Keller Williams office in Arkansas. And so they have a lot of agents that are investing and spending extra money. Scott, I know you and I used to do it as well, and we were getting about a 70% click through rate as well. We have it for free. So I would encourage you to set yourself up on it as a consumer, because I got one from Valid Mortgage this morning, and I'm also getting it from you. But now I started to click on yours for my Go Hub and not Valid Mortgage. So if y'all aren't in control of that lead, where do you think that lead's going to go? It's going to go to somebody else. Correct. So all that to say is where we're winning here, we've got a lot of people that have set up contacts, and we've got a lot of people that have set up hubs. Our opportunity is look at all the people that still haven't put. So y'all have logged in, but you still haven't put contacts in. So it's similar to a database. If you're not going to put the contacts in, the automation will not work for you, right? So who has a Go Home Hub or who has NovaLink? If you don't have it, it's fine. I want you to come see Linda. She can, because I think the problem is we don't take the time to actually add the contacts in there. So I would encourage you to get with Linda, and then she can today. She's going to sit here after team meeting. I would encourage you to get with her, and she can give you a NovaLink login and then Go Home Hub. Those of you that like to study data and use the excuse that we don't want to give away our data, Scott Layson, when you say that, what do you hear me say? What would you say about data and what you study? If I'm in your database, I'm probably in everybody else's. So this is a critical piece in what I would say selling real estate in the future is. And I'm going to show y'all some of the top producers. So there was a survey done in Gary's group of all the top 100s, and what the mega agents are doing and what the top tier teams are doing. Most of them are doing automation, which is the Go Home Hub, and then they're doing lead generation. They're spending money on marketing, and they're doing all of these things so that they can. And what I mean by Gary's top, they do $2 million in GCI. So we have an opportunity to do this for free, and I would encourage y'all to take us up on it. So when do most of your appointments get set? Based on all of the top survey, the people that filled out this survey of top producers, what does that say to you? 63%. The only time I get an appointment is when somebody calls me. That's a good one. They're lead receiving. So I would encourage y'all, if you want to lead receive, if we're not going to do outbound calls, that's totally fine. But I'm encourage y'all to do this so that way you can lead receive. Because on the back end, so say, Justin, you're a consumer, right? On the back end, I've signed you up for a Go Home Hub. You're seeing these reports, and they're automated, right? You click on it, then it notifies your phone and you that you've clicked on it. And then now I'm lead receiving. Does that make sense? And I'm not having to go prospect for a bunch of people I don't know. So all that to say is, if y'all would do this, you could lead receive and not feel like you have to go out and get the business. I would encourage you, if you're running open houses, who in here is running open houses? What's a landing page? So if I said, hey, Justin, do you want to receive free home equity reports and home appreciation reports and also get access to my vendor preferred list? Scan this QR code, enter your information, and I'll start sending it to you. Is that a better value than saying, hey, my seller wants some feedback here? We rate it on 1 to 10? I mean, the value of that is you can use that landing page to then capture that information. And then the next one, on average, how many hours per week do you or your team spend following up on leads? What does this say to you? Tia's face is really funny. What's the opportunity here for y'all? Like, this is not a judgment. None of these slides are judgment. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, we have so much opportunity in this space right now because what's everybody else doing? They're waiting for it to come to them. And we have automation that will bring it directly to us. And Justin, what do you see when you look at this? How many hours a week do you call? A lot more. And you're in Gary's mastermind group. So I think the conversation is we have a tool that we could use to help us call with if we don't have, we don't know what to say or what to call about. And so I would encourage y'all to start implementing that in your business. Were you about to say something else? So 15 to 20 hours a week on the phone. So y'all, we have a huge opportunity while everybody else is only doing 1 hour a day or not even that. You have an opportunity to reach out to more people. All right, next. Marketing. Most are saying that their annual expense for marketing is 6 to 10%, and then 3 to 5% for their annual expense. Why is that important right now? Why is marketing important right now? What is free? Social media. So the only time, you're gonna have to pay to market your property. I.e., you can run ads. You can do certain things to boost your websites with SEO, right? And Google Ads, and you could also build a brand and use that expense, which is what I chose to do. Yes. Yep. Yeah. When you get a call versus when you get a call when you're sitting there, I don't know, later in the day outside of lead gen, how does that make you feel when they're calling you and telling you it's right now business? Yes. So we talk about this a lot. It's like, how do you create a world where instead of you having to consistently hit phones and do outbound calls, how do you switch that and do inbound lead gen, i.e., people are calling and wanting to do business with you, to your point, right? Go ahead, Linda.
The best point is social media and these types of marketing is mind share. Mind share gets you market share, right? That's what Gary always says. And it's not just through calls, but how do you be omnipresent for them? Meaning they get an email from you once a month, and then they get a newsletter from you once a month, and they get a call from you once a quarter, and then they see you on social media. That's how you start getting calls. And that's what Justin does really at a high level is they see him everywhere and constantly in all different ways, right? They're seeing events and they're seeing you at your kids' things. Oh, there's Justin again, right? Oh, Justin's calling me again. So, and then whatever it looks like for you, how can you be everywhere all the time so that those calls come to you and it's not the only time they hear from you is even if you are calling, they just see you once a quarter, they might forget when they're ready the next month or it's not their time on the DCD2, right? So anyways, I think mind share gives you market share, and that's what this does for you. Does that make sense?
I would just say if they can market on the social media, which I think will take less energy from them and receive some, it's an and, not an or, if that makes sense.
Social media too, right? So I will say where I have had a major flip in my mindset. I am tired of working harder and not smarter. So instead of me just hammering a database all day long, I'll go build a brand, which I just launched it today. And then I funnel people to me based on my personality and what I care about, right? And then they're calling me, and I'm not having to outbound call everybody. And then I also have a piece of software that sends home equity reports. So I'm hitting them, and who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, who I am, just in real life. And then I'm also putting, my passion for leadership out there. Are y'all following this? Like, if I'm going to make it super simple for everybody in the room, instead of trying to chase everything, set them up on a Go Hum Hub, connect with vendors, and ask them to be their preferred vendor partner and put them on there, which when you connect with vendors, what are you asking vendors for? Business back, right? Then you set up your social media, right? And then how do you create a brand for yourself? Like, what do you want to be known for? And that is a totally different shift than me having to go prospect all the time. To Justin's point, if they are pinging me or, whatever, I'm still going to have to make the calls. I still need to be in relationship with people, but I would encourage y'all to start strategizing on how can you work smarter and not harder, because that is more fulfilling than, people coming to me than me having to constantly chase them and try to talk them into buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Does that make sense? All right, marketing, sales obstacles, unrealistic sellers, which is what we talked about at the very beginning, at 46%. So how are we going to make them realistic? How are we going to educate them and consult to listen to our advice as consultants? What are we doing to educate them at our listing? Nothing. We're just telling them we're going to sign and take it at 30,000 over list. Anyone? No. Justin, are you doing anything? What? I mean, if I know oil prices are going up, the market is volatile. Like, I don't know where the market's going to go, but what I would do, Mr. and Miss Seller, is price it accordingly, right at the market value or right under it, and then let the market make it what it will be. But just overpricing it, where we have to do a price correction 3 to 4 times, is going to net you less money. You get to decide what you want to do, but I'm telling you right now, this is where we need to land. So I would encourage y'all to pull statistics. Does everybody know what you should be pulling every single week in MLS? What's some important numbers? Average days on market. What else? List price to sales price in any given area. And then the months of inventory. Anything else I'm missing? Seller contributions, because that goes into it. Like, y'all can pull a snapshot every single Friday, and then you can send that out to your sellers. But if you come at your sellers with actual statistics, and this is where the difference is between an advisor and a transaction manager. So let me ask y'all this. With AI, do you think that our customers can get access to all this information? Yeah. Okay, so how are we going to be different? Actually talking through it, presenting advisory conversation around it, and that's why I say an advisor and not a transaction manager. A transaction manager is just going to go list it for whatever they want. Somebody that is really coaching and guiding and saying, hey, this is where I see it going. I currently have Layson Group 14 listings on the market. I can add you to that pitfall, or we could go ahead and move this. What do you want to do? Right? And making sure y'all are realistic about days on market. What's the average days on market right now? I don't know. Maybe. I like it if you know it. It depends on the price point right now. If you're going into a listing, so I've got one right now, and they're still trying to figure out if they want to list or not. It's in Germantown. Long story short, they have to put the whole conversation. I met with them 3 times. Okay, they want to put over 100,000 into their house. So here, and one just said, hey, why don't we go look at this property and see if you want something that has everything already in it, put 100,000 in it and hold it for 7 years. Why do I say hold it for 7 years? It's going to take time for it to come back around for them to get their money out of it. So I would encourage y'all, don't be afraid to put the sellers in the car and go preview their competition or go preview anything that's coming soon or that you don't know if they'll want to, okay? Because that does help them when they can actually see the product and see what they're doing. And do you think they'll end up selling? Yes. You want to look at days on market, list price to sales price, concessions, months of inventory. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. For the main ones. Yeah. And I would, again, I know I've talked about this a lot. Oh, sorry. Sorry, y'all. We were talking about technology and where we see it going. But let me be really clear. I don't think job loss is going to happen for everybody that decides to upskill with AI. There's a difference. You could put your head in the sand, or you can do what Scott's doing and build out software and technology and build out systems with AI, which is doing what? Making him go faster, right? And so it's not a bad thing if you adopt the thing, but it is if you keep putting your head in the sand over here. And that's why I keep saying we have to go from being a transactional agent to a wealth building agent, because they have access to all the information that you were just referring to, days on market, list price to sales price. They can pull that with one prompt. So instead of just being dependent on data that we used to only have, how are we going to help them understand a wealth building conversation? Did you have something else to say? Because you looked at me. Yeah. Scott said it's important to play around with the tools, whether you understand it or not. Well, that's what we talked about on Win the Morning. So, Ashley, you're coming in here, and you were on Win the Morning this morning. And we were talking about AI is very similar to this. You could drive a Ferrari and just take it to your mailbox and back and never really take it for a ride, right? And same thing with AI. You could go in there and just play with it for just basic information. Or this morning we built out Ashley, a GPT. And what did you say it did for you this morning? Because you called me immediately afterwards wanting more.
I just realized that there's a ton of tools that we don't know about, that we're not accessing. And I just asked Sarah, I was like, okay, what's the next step? What does it do for me? So I'm just waiting.
I told her, here's what I found with AI. If I gave y'all a class and we went through all of them, you're not going to understand it. And so there's a reason why I'm just going step by step, because I just need you to engage with the step so that then y'all can go to the next step. So it's just like what I'm saying with Homeowner AI. Y'all have all logged into it, but you haven't gone to the next step to put your contacts in there, right? And so it's like, how can we chunk this down so it doesn't seem so overwhelming? And you're going to start seeing this in job reports. You're going to start seeing this in inventory, I think. And my goal for y'all is, how do you upskill with it? And we have all the tools to upskill with it. We already have automation. We already have technology. And even you said this, it was last night, you said technology was going to be a commodity. And why'd you say that? Because anybody can build anything they want to in the next year or two. So when these tech companies or software companies want to sell a piece of software, probably more chances now than ever, somebody can develop that in a month, right? Yes. Yep.
Okay, two things. First of all, about that, my brother is an engineer for a small business here, and he said what used to take them 3 weeks to get a machine back up and running, and the engineer would have to go get the manual and read it, and they fixed it in like 30 minutes. He was like, we don't need 10 engineers anymore. We need one guy who has AI, and they can go fix the machine and what's wrong with it. They do like 3D printing of things, so it's pretty cool. And anyways,
like for houses.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy one day when Sarah said, what does that look like for housing? Because it will do that eventually. My brother told me there's a piece of tech in China. Yeah, there's a piece of tech in China that instead of it going, layer by layer by layer, it's a liquid that they infuse into this. Something that they infuse into a liquid, and it immediately solidifies in the shape that they want it. It's like immediate 3D printing that just came out. Crazy stuff. Anyways, they can create anything in like milliseconds. That's not what I was going to say though about the AI and using it in real estate. So Rory Vaden said AI, obviously people don't pay for information anymore because they already have it, right? Like they're paying us for the utilization of the information. And so when you go on a listing appointment, it's still a very emotional process. Like they can have all the data they want and they still believe that their house is worth this, right? So that's where we come in, not necessarily for like the data is the data and they can find it anywhere. How do you help them see what the data means for them and their situation and their house? So that conversation with Steve Schlueter, and honestly, guys, just getting every single time there's a pricing call, get on it. Every single time there's a pricing conversation, get in it. Because that's the only reason I can go in confidently, because I've been listening to it for 8 months of how these people and these experts say it to make somebody do what they want. So that when somebody says, I want to list for 430, I can confidently say, that's a mistake. And a year ago, I would have been afraid to tell them that's a mistake. I would have just taken it and had the conversation later and been too timid. But like, get in these rooms where people are having these conversations so you know what to say and hear it over and over and over, because one time doesn't do it. Like you have to hear this so many times for it to be like the back of your hand, and it's like ingrained in you to say, no, Mr. Seller, that's a mistake. I'm the professional here. Like if you do that, it's not going to sell. And I can tell you that confidently. If you can say that, like that's going to change those numbers. Boom. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you just hit on something that's really important. AI can't replace the relationship. The whole point of AI is to backfill you and upskill you so that you are front and center, so I can be empathetic to you. I can be in the moment with you. I can help ease your worry and your stress. And that is why you're hiring me. So help y'all to understand that, like, that is a key piece of it. AI, yes, they have access to all of these things. They will not replace the agent that uses all of those tools to then put them front and center in the relationship. I mean, that was a really powerful thing you just said. All right, next. Sorry, and if I'm running out of time, I'll move it. This, I think, is what Scott and I were talking about that I think is important for y'all to know. Why do you think healthcare and social assistance is increasing in employment versus everybody else? Well, and what else? You can't replace it because why? It is a relationship, and you're trusting somebody with your life and your caregiving. So if we make any switch after today, backfill yourself with AI and get front and center with the relationship. And there's a guy coming. We talked, I think you were connected to who sent it to us? Kirsten Green sent us a guy. There's a guy, young professional in town that brings a bunch of business entrepreneurs together to go over how they're using AI in their businesses. Y'all go look at these meetup groups and just go sit and listen. Because if you go, you're just going to learn. So we're bringing him in potentially. We're also bringing in Sue's coach. When is that? Social media coach at the last week of April. We do have a sponsor that's going to pay for it in full so that y'all don't have to pay for it. And we're also probably bringing somebody else in that's an expert in AI either this summer or in the fall. But for now, I would encourage y'all, we already have all the playbooks. Just run the plays that we're giving you so that you can get used to it. Any questions about that? No? I just think this slide's incredibly powerful for y'all to understand where we're going. And then I want to hit on this. Current pace they're predicting current pace is 4 million homes, which is the lowest in a while. However, those that have been on Win the Morning, what am I telling y'all to do? Put everybody in homeowner AI, even if they're not in the city of Memphis. And what am I telling you to capture? A piece of what? And how is that done? If I put everybody I know in Georgia in homeowner AI, and they're sending them home appreciation and equity reports, and all of a sudden I see them clicking around and I call them, what am I going to get a piece of? Their transaction. We have a lot of opportunity to still capture 4 million different pieces of the transaction. When I say piece of transaction, I mean the referral. Are y'all following me? So we have technology that's not just in a Memphis-based, it's not a Memphis-based only software. It speaks nationally. So capture that. If you put everybody in there that you know nationally or worldwide, then get a piece of the transaction because they're going to come back to you. And guess what happens? No offense to anybody that knows anybody in the banking industry, but if the bank has Vallon Mortgage and Vallon Mortgage is sending me a home equity report and I call Vallon Mortgage or they call me, who's going to get my business? Vallon Mortgage, right? So just something that y'all need to understand where you can take control and get more out of that 4 million. Home sales monthly. Currently, right now, we're at, in terms of 2026, we're at 4 million. No. What is that? 4 million monthly. And then that can't be right. I don't know. Keep going. Consumer sentiment, I think everybody would agree on this. Is another reason why we're struggling to sell some of our properties. One thing that Mississippi's doing, they're partnering with builders. I think somebody else in Memphis was doing this too. Who else was doing this? Partnering with builders. Why is it a good time to partner with builders? They've got inventory. And so this is a great time for y'all to build relationships with the builders, start doing social media marketing with the builders, so then you can capture their business, if they need to hire an agent for that. So this is a great opportunity for that. So while the consumer sentiment is low, you still have a ton of opportunity. All right, any questions before we keep going? I'm going to go over the February top producers, and then I'm going to invite Courtney up here with Mutual of Omaha. She shared with us yesterday. We had kind of an economic conversation via text because I like to hear, and y'all should also ask any of your vendor partners, what are they hearing on their national calls? Because they're hearing it from a mortgage standpoint, obviously, and banking, and then we see it from the real estate industry side. But y'all talk to your financial advisors. Find out what they're hearing. right? So start making sure that you're building a group around you so that you can get additional information about what these folks are hearing in the industry that's outside of real estate. February top producers. Top producing individuals goes to Scott Carrier for the win, Brendan Bynum second, and Sue Dye. Congratulations to these three folks. Awesome job. Top producing team. Congratulations to the Sanchez team. Incredible job there. The Cook team and then the James team. Awesome job to those groups and teams. And then the next group, congratulations to Wallace Group Home and Loan. Awesome job in first. The House team in second and the Layson Group in third. Congratulations. Anything else? All right, Courtney with Mutual of Omaha is going to come up and she's going to present, and then we will wrap up. Cool. What open houses do we have today? We got one in Piperton, and if you want food, go to Piperton. And where else? We don't know. Okay, got it. Here you go, Courtney. Thank you for coming.
Hey, y'all. Full disclosure, I turn into like Buddy the Elf when I start talking about mortgages. I get so excited and I talk really fast sometimes. So anyway, I am really big on self-help books. You know, there's, of course, The One Thing by Gary Keller. There's Unapologetically Ambitious, Raving Fans, Unreasonable Hospitality. What do all of these books have in common, if you've heard of them? If you haven't, I'll just tell you. It is going above and beyond at a very high level on everything. It's very simple things, but going above and beyond. And that is where I come in with lending. Is there a clicker or no? Okay. Who in here has had a loan fall apart? What happened? Blame the loan officer. I'm just kidding. It's all their fault. They buy a car or they lost their job. All these things happen. My favorite loan product that we have, and we'll get to this slide here in a second, but I want you guys to take this away with you. A Power Offer Ready Pre-Approval letter. This is fully underwritten on the front end. There are next to no surprises involved with the lending. I love these. I sleep better knowing that it's already been reviewed. Their income's been reviewed. Their assets have been reviewed. Their credit, you can do a soft pull. You don't even have to have a property address. It is already reviewed by underwriting. I'm telling you, every single person in this room will be much happier in those types of transactions. So when you find a buyer, put them in front of me, put them in front of a loan officer who does these. Not every lender does. A lot of people don't have time. It's not a 24-hour, it is like a 3 to 5 business day situation because it does go through underwriting. But everybody will sleep easier on those transactions, especially when we're getting into a competitive market. Oh, and those are 2-week closings too. They are just as good as cash. Just have to order the appraisal, title work. So just a little bit about Mutual of Omaha. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of our global brand. We're $1 billion company. We are personally backed by Gary Keller. He is our biggest supporter. I really feel like Gary is the type of person who is like for the people, and I feel like Mutual of Omaha is as well. We're Fortune 300 company. There you go. This is the offer ready pre-approval. It's okay. Anyway, no, all right, that's fine. It's okay. I've given this presentation a number of times in my head. Anyway, so I was just telling you about the offer ready pre-approval. This is really your competitive edge. If anything, like just always remember that. Okay. All right. So we have so many different loan products. You know, there's sometimes when you have too many tools in the shed, it can be a little complicated. But I feel like with our company, we do bank statement loans in-house. We do the DSCR loans. And when I say in-house, I mean we're underwriting them in-house. We do have special products, you know, jumbo loan products, doctor loans, foreign national loans. Those, you know, those have, they're special solutions for special people. All right. Non-warrantable condos. So I was talking about this a little bit ago to the previous folks that were in here, and there are new lending guidelines on condos that will be in effect later this year. You guys are going to want to partner with somebody who is very fluent in non-warrantable condos, because it is very likely that most condos will not go Fannie or Freddie. You will want to find a partner who can do those. And that's because of it's a reserve factor. So right now it's 10% reserve. It's going to be 15% reserves. Not all condos have 15% in reserve. So that's really going to push a lot of these places out. Down payment assistance programs. So there's state specific, there's county specific down payment assistance programs. We have one that we do in-house. It's called Essex. We can do up to 5% to go towards our down payment. It can be, it's all government loans. So FHA, RD, VA. They are really good because their credit score is only a 600 and above, which some state-specific programs are like 640 and above. There's more flexibility with those. The debt-to-income ratio is a little bit flexible. Those are really good, if you're in a situation where somebody just found the house they love and they need some money. Yes, I've heard it be used different ways. Bridge loans, if you have somebody who is trying to buy a new home, but they haven't sold their other one, we have very good programs on that. I'm talking closing within like a few days, same week, to get the equity out of that house to buy the new home. Okay. Yeah.
Right now, what a DSCR loan?
I'll tell you. So DSCR is actually one of my favorite programs that we have. It's great for investors. We don't use any of their income. We only use what the property will rent for. So it's debt service coverage ratio. So as long as the market rent, and it could be short-term rental as well, as long as the market rent covers that future mortgage payment and they have 20% down, easy freaking breezy whenever it comes to underwriting. Like, I love those loans. The Mhm. Correct. So, so backstory about me. So I actually started lending in the Memphis market, and investors were my focus for a long time. However, $150,000 minimum. There's a lot of investors who buy homes for $150,000, $150,000. So that is like the little caveat of that is they do have to be, what is it, like 180 and above if they're putting 20% down. And then I think we do the statement. You can go next. Okay, we already did that. Okay, new construction loans. A big part of my business now is working with builders. We have such a good partnership with Mutual of Omaha and builders. We can do, it's called forward commitments. So if you ever hear, oh, so-and-so builder is offering a 4.99% interest rate, we have the ability to do those type of programs. So if you're ever working with a builder and, they're trying to move, various properties, we can do like a package deal with them to offer that kind of rate. We also do, if they don't want to do like a forward commitment, then depending on the price point of the home, we could offer a lender credit. It's just good to have those partnerships. When you're working with a builder, like, everybody works well together. Same thing with just realtor partnerships. When you like your lender, you talk to them all the time and you know exactly what's going on at all times. Yes, sir. There's really no minimum. I have some, so in the Northwest Arkansas market, I have some that put out like 5 homes a year. And, we have an incentive for them. We have some who are putting out 60 a year. It just depends. It's a case-by-case basis on what that looks like. Up to 60 days. So the whole goal is to let's move these because the builder is essentially paying for that. We also do one-time closings. So if you have somebody who wants to build their home and they found the lot, we will fund the lot, the build, and put it into a mortgage all in one closing. We have a whole construction, new construction and builder division as well. Okay, Agent Plus. Has anybody heard of Keller Williams Agent Plus in this room? Sarah Leeson has. Okay, if you ever go to a family reunion, there's a good chance you have heard of it. I am obsessed with this program, and it's for agents who have done at least 5 buy sides. And don't forget when I tell you this, but you'll get your mortgage license. You're going to take the class, take the test. You're officially a loan officer with Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. Now, you don't have to do any of the work. That's where I come in. The senior loan officers do. If you have a loan officer that you're already working with, maybe they want to come over to the Mutual of Omaha side. We're always happy to bring them on. But you get a 0.5% on every single loan that you close. So you are acting as the buyer's agent and the loan officer on every deal. Next. So yeah, you're getting paid twice, 0.5% on every loan. You're not reviewing the credit. You're not talking loan terms with them. That's all the senior partner. That's all what we do. We were, so at Keller Williams Family Reunion a few weeks ago, one of the realtors who are doing Agent Plus made an additional $40,000 last year just doing this. And literally, like I said, doing nothing. Just, it's really good for past clients who are refining. You get that money. So, there you go. All right. And then why should you work with me? It's a great question. So I have a deep connection to the Memphis market. I started here in the Memphis market. I'm actually in Northwest Arkansas now, but I come here as often as possible. I really love the food here and the people and just the culture. I miss it. I'm available most nights and weekends. If you've ever worked with me, I literally will be up at 3:00 in the morning in France writing a pre-approval letter for you. I just don't stop, and I don't want to stop. So, I'm sure most of you all have your preferred lenders. That's okay. Just make me like number 2, life happens. I could tell you personal experience. I was the top producing loan officer in my company a few years ago, and my mom almost died. And so I had to get back home. That's why I'm back in Arkansas now. She was very sick. And I remember one of my realtor partners, she called me. She said, something is going on with you. I know. And it was because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I have all of this volume, and my mom is very, very sick. And so, life happens, situations happen. I just want to be on the list. So if you guys ever just need a second set of eyes, or someone, maybe go let them take a vacation. They can send them to me, I'm happy to do it. One thing I didn't put on these slides was I do a Smart Start presentation with my home buyers. Whether they're a first-time home buyer or if maybe they're just not familiar with it anymore, I do a presentation. It's like 45 minutes long. I go through every single detail of the loan process. I'm not a robot. I'm not just, when somebody says, hey, what's the rate today? I'm like, that's not how this works. I want them to know exactly what they're doing in the loan process. It's a huge, huge purchase. Probably the biggest thing they're going to do other than having children. And as far as the financial aspect of it. But I want everybody to be educated, including realtors. You guys can sit on the presentations, but I know it's a long presentation to do every single time. But if you ever want to sit with me and me kind of you act like the buyer and go through it, I'm always happy to do that as well. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, comments, feedback? Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. No, you have to have closed 5 buy side deals in a year to qualify, because we do essentially pay for it. So, we don't want somebody who isn't a hustler, someone who's only doing 1 or 2 transactions, because, we're essentially paying. Side note, you're a W-2 employee. When you become an Agent Plus, you get the 401k as well. Any other questions? A confused buyer doesn't buy.
I would give them the names and wonder why they would go back instead of just setting up with them.
That's perfect. One of my biggest realtor partners at the KW office in Bentonville, he puts me in a group text every single time. He said, "Hey, Courtney, this is so and so. Please connect." I respond back, "Hey, I'm going to call you at this time," and then get off the phone with them. Group text. That way, the agent always knows, like, "Hey, I've made contact with this person. The loan application has been sent. Ball is in their court." Those are like my favorite types of connections. Is just so we're all there, so I can start, doing my side of things.
Yes, so the Clarks are having a broker open. Courtney, welcome to go. And they're having food, and it's going to be lots of fun.
Is that today?
Today, yeah. So straight. Ooh, this is loud. Yes, she's doing like an Easter egg hunt and some prizes and giveaways. And it starts from 12 to 2, I believe. And so there will be lunch there, and y'all just go mingle, make some content. There is some food back there too, but the Clarks do have that going on today, so we hope you can go to that. And let me think, is there anything else? Sarah said that there is a prompt in Facebook for you guys on Zoom. If you go in our Facebook group, she put the exact prompt to put in and do the pretty much the listing assistant or listing director. So just say if you take nothing else from this, go do that so that you can start building out those systems using AI and just work smarter, not harder. But thank you guys so much for coming to team meeting. Next week is going to be lots of fun too. So it'll be our first one of the month. It'll be a bigger one. So y'all come out and we will see you guys soon.